Hi, this is Mrs. Gunter, and welcome to today's video lesson where we're going to ask ourselves, what does it take to be an entrepreneur? So let's take a moment to look at our objectives. When we are done with this lesson, you should be able to identify characteristics associated with successful entrepreneurs. You should be able to explain the benefits and costs associated with a set of life choices and behaviors. And finally, hopefully, you should be able to create a plan for developing your own entrepreneurial skills. Some of the concepts that we'll cover will be choices, opportunity cost, and entrepreneurship. Okay, so let's take a minute to review our scale of understanding. And this should seem familiar to you from some of your other lessons. So we have a 0, I don't get it. 1, it's I kind of sort of get it. 2, I get it, but I can't explain it to others. And then we have 3 and 4, and you see the thumb below, the thumbs up. That's where I'd like to see you be. Either I get it and I can explain it to others, or I get it, I can explain it to others, and I can extend my understanding to new situations. And so next time when we have our discussion-based assessment, you can give me an idea of where you stand on this scale of understanding, and then we can kind of take it from there. So let's begin with asking ourselves the question, what is an entrepreneur? Okay, so let's take a minute to look at this graphic organizer. We're going to do a little bit of brainstorming, and we're going to think about some of the characteristics of an entrepreneur. One of the good ways to do that, to think about some of the characters of an entrepreneur, is to think about some entrepreneurs that you may know already. And that may be someone that you know in your family, in your community, or maybe even someone who's a famous entrepreneur. So when I think of an entrepreneur, I think of someone like Michael Kors. He owns a successful clothing line. He has a line of beautiful purses. He's very successful. He's a fashion designer. And so, of course, when I think about Michael Kors, one of the characteristics that I think of, one of the characteristics that I attribute to him is that of creativity. All right, so you go ahead and think about your own entrepreneurs and some of the characteristics that you think that they should possess or that they do possess, and we'll come back to this. Okay, Delaney, if you were asked to name an entrepreneur, who would come to mind?
So I'm not sure if anyone is really familiar with this person, but his name is Brian Bell, and he's a reining trainer that I actually met when I went to Oklahoma, and kind of learned a little bit about his business. So.
And that's the kind of business that you want to go into because you want to be an entrepreneur, right? So this has to do with horses?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It's a specific sport in horses.
Okay, all right. So when you think about characteristics of an entrepreneur, and you can think about that person, what are some of the characteristics that you think about?
I really think that it takes a really, strong person. You have to have such detailed organization, and you have to really keep track of your financials because it's so easy to spend a little bit too much and do a little bit this and a little bit that. So you have to be so organized in the way that you take in business. Make sure you don't take on too much responsibility where you have unhappy clients. I'm trying to think of what else. You have to stay true to your promises. So for a trainer, you promise you're going to ride the horse 5 days a week. If you make this commitment to too many horses and you can't keep up with them anymore, then you're going to have dissatisfied clients, and then you won't have a good quality of work anymore.
Oh, that's excellent. So, you know what? I can see you as a future entrepreneur. Okay, Jessica, how about you? Can you give me some characteristics that you think that an entrepreneur needs to have in order to be successful?
I believe an entrepreneur needs intelligence, imagination, and ability to take the risks that are needed to start up a business. And I think that they need to be able to withstand like different situations that come up in a business, like maybe a natural like disaster, maybe like a hurricane, for example. They need to be able to maintain like their level of stress and figure out a plan of like workers and just overall know what they want in their business and keep track of it.
I think that's really excellent, and especially given the fact that today Hurricane Michael is expected to hit the Panhandle, and also coming from St. Johns County, we have experience with hurricanes, and so my sister is an entrepreneur, and she's had to deal 2 years in a row with damage to her business. So I think that was really good. Thank you, Jessica.
You're welcome.
So, what are some of the characteristics of an entrepreneur? Well, certainly each entrepreneur is unique. However, many share a number of common characteristics that may include being creative or innovative, being a risk taker, being hardworking, intelligent, driven, and certainly someone who's open to new ideas. So we could say that entrepreneurs are individuals who are willing to take a risk, start a business, gather resources, produce a good or service, or seek a profit or other rewards. To take it further, we could say that entrepreneurs either innovate or replicate. If they innovate, they might improve or create a new good or service. So, Evan Spiegel, Bobby Murphy, and Reggie Brown, all entrepreneurs and former students of Stanford University, created Snapchat. That's a popular multimedia messaging app. You could also replicate a business. For example, you may franchise and open your own Chick-fil-A store. So, what is entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship is the human resource that assumes the risk in order to produce a product or service. So, the entrepreneur is the human resource, and they're the one that has to put everything on the line. So it's the entrepreneur who has to combine all the necessary economic resources, and that could be coming up with the land and labor and capital, and then they have to manage and organize, and of course they have to decision make. So entrepreneurs have to make choices. They have to make decisions, and every decision in life has a cost. So even the decision to not make a decision triggers what we call opportunity costs. Can you, I know you did opportunity cost in module one. Can you give me a definition of opportunity cost? Tell me what you think it is and kind of give me an idea of that in your everyday life.
Yeah, sure. Opportunity cost is when you're in a situation and there's two different possible routes that you could take. You could take the one that benefits you the most in your personal opinion, or you could take the one that maybe will benefit you in the long term. And I think that opportunity cost is really just figuring out which one you think is the best option for you. And I think that in my everyday life, one of the biggest opportunity costs that I face nearly every day is either sacrificing my sleep or sacrificing my academic studies. So I have a lot of work and a lot of classes, and sometimes it's very difficult because I want to get 8 hours of sleep, but I also want to get an A on my 1,000 or 1,500
word paper. So it's very interesting, and I think that opportunity cost is something that people just in everyday nature, they do it and they rationalize it, but they don't actually realize they're doing it. So then whenever you put that term in an economic field and connect it to your everyday life, I feel like that helps you further your learning, and it helps you connect in a way that you didn't know you could connect to economics.
I love that. So you're telling me that if you stay up late to study, which is a good thing, you're going to do well on your test. Mm-hmm. The opportunity cost is you're going to miss out on sleep.
Yes.
So we say opportunity cost is the cost of choosing one opportunity or investment over another. And entrepreneurs use this business concept to make important decisions every day.
Opportunity cost is what a person sacrifices when they choose one option over another. Tony is a sous chef at one of the best restaurants in the city. He earns a respectable salary of $50,000 a year. It's a good job, but he thinks he can do better. So he decides to start his own restaurant called Tony's Bistro. In the first year, he earns only 25% of what he made as a sous chef, or $12,500. The opportunity cost of starting his own business is the other 75% of the income that he would have made if he had stayed at his old job, or $37,500. Tony doesn't make too much for the first 4 years his restaurant is open, and his opportunity costs are high. He only earns $50,000 instead of the $200,000 he would have earned at his old job. So his opportunity cost is $150,000. Suddenly, in year 5, Tony's Bistro starts receiving rave reviews from food critics and earning top rankings from Zagat and Michelin. Business is booming, and he is making 5 times as much as he made at his old job, or $250,000 a year. He realizes that if he was still working as a sous chef, his opportunity cost would now be $200,000 a year. Although Tony sacrificed income and his opportunity cost was high in the short term, in the long run, his opportunity cost would have been higher if he had not opened his own restaurant.
So now would be a good time for you to stop and check your level of understanding and to ask yourself, do you have what it takes to be an entrepreneur? So by now you should be able to identify the characteristics associated with a successful entrepreneur, as well as the costs and benefits of an entrepreneurial lifestyle. Now it's time for you to figure out how you can develop your own entrepreneurial skills. So if you're thinking about being an entrepreneur, it could be beneficial to know yourself inside and out. Even though you've been with yourself your whole life, it's hard to pinpoint your qualities. Assessing yourself with professional self-assessment tools can be a great starting point. Consider doing your own online research or even interviewing a local entrepreneur. It may be a family member or someone in your own community. Here are some resources to help you get started. Find somebody who already does what you want to do. Get a mentor. They can offer you support, help you reach your goals, motivate you, and give you advice so that you can be successful. And finally, remember, if you can dream it, you can do it. If you've been prompted to do this assessment, then here are the assignment directions. You will interview a local entrepreneur. You can ask them any questions, but here are some possible ones that you may consider. After your interview, answer this question in a paragraph of at least 3 to 5 sentences. If you were to start your own business, what would it be and how would you organize it? Explain why. Be prepared to discuss your interview and reflection with your instructor. Please contact your instructor if you have any questions concerning this assignment. Thank you to Lainey, Jessica, and Tia for participating in this learning video, and thanks to everyone else for watching.